Last time we were in Needham, we talked about countertops and millwork based on a couple questions that came up. I wanted to kind of expand on that conversation. Here we're standing in the mudroom of this home. All of our boxes are installed. We have no face frames, no doors, and no drawer fronts. And the reason that we do that is, number one, it allows us to send all of the architectural pieces or the finished pieces to the finisher while these boxes can get delivered to the site and installed immediately. Now here we don't have any countertops, so it doesn't really matter, but from a schedule perspective, where we do have countertops, we want that countertop template to happen as soon as possible. We talked about that in the last episode, is how we're setting that expectation when there aren't face frames and doors on it by putting that sacrificial piece on it. Secondly, by leaving the face frames off, the doors off, the drawers off, we're protecting them. We are still very much under construction. This is the pathway in from the garage. A lot of material comes in here. So if this was a finished piece right now, we would need to be, going above and beyond to protect it. Because all of these face frames and doors, drawers, everything get finished off site, and there is no touch-ups on site. And in this case, we have our boxes, and the way that the face frames will get connected eventually is through a number of Festool dominoes, as well as these lamello clips. The way that Materia, who is our millwork partner, fabricates this cabinetry, all of these face frames come in one big piece. So what does that mean? This means that this is going to come in, it's going to snap on, and it's going to be done. But the reality of what I just said is there's a lot of finesse to getting that to be installed. Here we do have the cabinetry projecting off of the wall. You're going to have a face frame here and then a return that has to be scribed against that wall. When they're scribing the face frames, it's really important to have a nice powerful saw that's going to give you a nice consistent clean cut, and of course a long track. But where it's going to really matter is here in the pantry. So to the right here is our wet pantry, meaning that there is a sink in here. You also have some appliances. We actually will have a large walnut countertop that will be installed and field cut in place. But this will actually be finished prior to showing up. So in considering that, what it means is that we're gonna have this really, really important miter here for the countertop. This is going to be mitered in place, and then you're going to scribe the end over here into your window. When you're cutting a piece of finished walnut, especially solid, it's important that you have a powerful saw to do that. We also have an awesome walnut desk that is being fabricated by our team at Materia. And with that being said, I want to turn this over to James at Materia, who's actually been using the new Festool Track Saw specifically for this countertop here.
Hi, I'm James with Materia Millwork. Used to be with NS Builders till we split a couple years ago. So you've probably seen my face around. Today we were using the Festool TS60K. That's Festool's new track saw. It's got the anti-kickback technology on it. I think it has a little bit more power than the previous ones. I've been working with the TS55F. Love it, great saw. I think this one is just one step above that in that it has a lot more power. As you'll see, I just cut almost 2-inch thick walnut without even a hesitation. The kickback would have activated it had it needed to, but it didn't because it didn't even slow down cutting walnut. Where the TS55F, I believe, cuts to 2 inches, this TS60K cuts to 2 1/4. It's able to actually cut through 2 inches much easier than bottoming out on the 2-inch cut with the TS55, because it actually gets through the material and cuts back up through it, as opposed to just riding the edge and having the full cut distance of the blade be utilized. I feel like they thought about this one. It's very smooth. Yeah, so take a look at this cutoff. As you can see, there's no burning, there's no check marks or anything. The material was pretty stable, but even with that being said, it didn't even slow down. I also got the opportunity to try out these Festool active noise canceling earbuds. Believe it or not, we had a landscape crew around the corner, and just while talking, I turned my head and it would turn off because the landscape crew was nearby, and I was catching that ambient noise, and it was turning off anything above a certain decibel level to protect my ears. So very happy with those. They play music, they will connect your phone through Bluetooth, and it seems like the battery life's pretty good on them too. So
Now, headphones have been a controversial on a lot of job sites as well as a lot of millwork shops because of blocking out noise or when someone's using a machine. And the nice part is with Festool's technology on these earphones, it's going to block out that background noise, but if someone's trying to talk to you, it's going to allow that to come through, and it's a lot safer in a work environment, especially when you're working around multiple people and tools. But you'll see him cutting this top, and what he's doing is he's getting that top prepped for the job site, and then when it does show up completely finished, he'll make his final adjustments with that track saw in order to get that in. But here is where all of our painted parts are, and everything has been wrapped up. You can see that, you know, everything is actually marked. Materia does a great job where they actually stamp every piece so they can reference it from the guys in the shop to the guys in the field. Everything is wrapped up and ready to be installed. But again, we're leaving that off kind of as long as possible. Of course, when they are installed, we'll get this stuff wrapped up. Typically, we're wrapping it in a foam product and then hanging signs saying, hey, please do not touch. Not every piece of millwork gets fabricated by our millwork provider, which is Materia Millwork. Oftentimes, we're dealing with millwork that might be built on site and finished on site. The office space is going to get painted monochromatically, all one color. So Materia is actually going to be providing the millwork for that, primed and ready for finish. In the office, that will be a house paint, meaning whatever we're painting the trim with will be painted on that cabinetry. And the reason that we're doing that is so it's consistent. We want it to look the same, we want it to have the same sheen, and ultimately want to have the same color. Very similar to how we would have paneling here, all of this is being done by our carpenters here at NS Builders and will be painted on site. And right now, they're actually working upstairs on a couple built-in pieces of millwork. So we have a bedroom back here, and this bedroom actually has a really cool detail. It's a bunk bed that we're fabricating completely in place. And this will get painted with all of the trim in this room. We use this product a lot, which we call a combo core. So it is an MDF faced birch plywood. So you have a nice core that keeps the structural integrity, but that MDF face makes it really nice to paint. And then you have this cool little staircase going up and this niche underneath where you can tuck in a bed up here and a mattress up here. Great for if you have more than one kid in a bedroom, but a cool little architectural detail, really special for the kids that get to enjoy this room. This is something that we could have fabricated in a shop, but we chose to do it on site. And oftentimes we look at a number of different reasons as to why. From a cost perspective, fabricating something on site and spraying it with a house paint is typically more cost effective than fabricating it in a millwork shop and painting it with a cabinet grade finish. What else we're working on up here is these little eave storages, classic to the old homes, utilizing the under roof eaves for additional storage. So the carpenters are installing some 5/4 inch casing to make sure that the baseboard ties into it, and this is going to get a very simple door with some exposed kind of strap hinge hardware, and that's on both sides here, which was one of those things that as we were framing we realized that, hey, this is a great opportunity to add some additional storage. Interestingly, this is actually our structural wall, if you guys remember, and being that it's a structural wall, there's a pretty heavy duty header on top of this doorway here. Speaking of carpentry, the exterior, we are wrapping up all of our exterior carpentry. All of the brackets are now installed, which means the painters are on site and they're wrapping up the exterior. We're getting rid of all of the white trim and getting our final color on the exterior of the house. And we even have our site guy on site getting to our final grade in preparation for our landscape contractor to show up. Interesting fact about the soil that was stockpiled in the back of the yard when we stripped this lot, it had a lot of growth on it. The site guy was talking to us about, because there was so much growth on it, meant that that soil was really healthy. So they actually flipped that entire pile, rotate what was growing on that to spread out the bacteria and the growth. So now he'll go through and make sure everything's mixed up and grade that in preparation for lawn and future plantings. Appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for another episode next week.